name's Kishla. I'll be taking you through an upper body shoulder focused stretch class today. So the props that I will be using are 2 blocks and a strap. If you don't have those at home, you can use like a towel, a belt, or like a robe tie up if you have that at home instead of a band. And instead of blocks, we don't have to have them today. So if you don't have them, you might just want to grab a pillow or a couple of cushions is another option. The blocks often just give a bit of height, so you could also try a couple of books as well. But they're not necessary, so if you don't have them, don't worry, you'll still be able to follow along. So we're going to start with our strap, or whatever type of band, towel, robe strap that you might have, and we're just going to make that nice and long, so make sure you've got enough space so you'll be unraveling that strap completely. I'm going to start kneeling, so I'm resting back on my heels. If this posture doesn't feel good for your thighs or for your ankles, you can also be cross-legged. Just some sort of seating posture. You could be sitting in a chair as well, since we're just going to work on the upper body anyway. So taking those hands out nice and wide along your strap, draw your shoulders back and down. On our inhale, we're going to reach our arms up, and on our exhale, we're just going to see if we can soften those arms back behind you. So I might just face the other way so you can see me. So we're going to draw the arms up and then soften the arms down. So the wider you go along the strap, the more room you're going to have through the shoulders to create this shape. Don't worry how far back the straps go. We're doing this to mainly warm up through our shoulder girdles and also to create some mobility through there as well. So just also notice when the strap goes back, we don't want to start to flare through our ribs. So this is when your Pilates posture is going to be really useful. So think of drawing the ribs towards each other. So there's a slight knitting in, a drawing in. And you might find that over time you can actually go a little bit shorter with your band or your strap. But just keeping them nice and wide is all good as well. So we're just warming up through this area. We always like to warm up the area that we're going to do some deep stretching in, just so it's not too much of a shock on the system. Keep the chin tucked in, again, ribs knitting towards each other, so you're nice and soft. Nice, and don't worry about how far you're going, we're just creating some mobility through the shoulders. Okay, from here we're going to see if we can go a little bit more circular. So the strap will go around the side, come back, go the other way. So this time you can start to arch your back. So my left arm's coming up on the diagonal, we open back not as far as we did before, and then we go along to the other side. So the other option here is you could actually use like a broomstick, would be another option. You can do the standing as well, but here we're more warming up through the back. So I'm opening, it's like there's an arch through my spine here, and then I'm rounding through my upper back. And I'm just reversing the 2 ways at the moment. Yep, so we're finding that opening, and then the rounding, and then we're going to see if we can create this more circular. So open, round through your spine as you come to the other side again. Oh, it's a juicy one. Okay, go back the other way. Make sure you keep using your breath. Again, we won't be here for too long, just going to do one more. Nice, and then just let that go. Give your shoulders a little shake out. Give your jaw a little wiggle. Sometimes we can tense through our neck and through our jaw when we work through the shoulders. Just give that a little release. Now take your knees out nice and wide. We're going to take an extended child's pose. So reaching the hands forward. Make sure there's space for your belly to soften between your thighs. And you're relaxing your forehead down to the mat here. So if your forehead doesn't touch the mat, that's when you can use your block or your cushion and just rest your forehead on that block or cushion. Just going to take a couple cycles of breath here just to relax through the shoulders. This in itself can be quite a stretch under the armpits. Or for some of us it feels really restorative. So we'll just take a couple cycles of breath here.
See if you can just inhale and exhale through your nose. Might even want to close down your eyes. See if you can soften your sit bones a little bit closer towards your heels. Okay, we're going to build on from this shape, so you can either stay how you are, or if you have those blocks, we're going to bring those into play here. So bring both hands onto a block each, and then just resting your forehead down. So just adding that bit of height is going to create more of a stretch through the shoulders underneath the armpit as the floor's further away now. So this is when you could use your blocks if you don't, books if you don't have any blocks. This is just a little bit of elevation, just adding a bit more height. You also don't have to have them, so you can stay where you were before. And allow your body to get really heavy here. So we want to work on softening as much as we can, finding that heaviness, the release through your upper back. So especially through your shoulder blades, can you allow your chest to be a bit heavier towards the ground? Okay, again, we're going to build from here. So if you have the blocks, bring them in closer, so quite a bit closer in, and then we're going to place an elbow on each block. You can create, like, bring your hands to touch if you like, and then we're going to soften from there. So similar shape, again, just more opening through the shoulders. If you don't have the blocks, that's okay. You can also just do this without and you'll still feel a juicy stretch. So elbows down, maybe resting your hands to the base of your neck. And feel free to take your arms out nice and wide, just so you have enough space to feel the softening through your shoulders. So you're either doing it with or without the blocks, finding that bend, and again, it's just creating a bit more opening underneath your shoulders through your armpits. And see if you can breathe straight into your belly here. So we want an inhale all the way to our belly. We want to see if our belly can fill up with air. And as you exhale, see if you can even get a bit heavier, like you're releasing a bit more. Every time you exhale, so you can get even heavier. You're able to take one more exhale. And then release your hands. We're going to come back up and remove the blocks. And you might be feeling quite sore in your legs here, so we're going to lengthen out long, and we might come back to that shape later on. So we'll be lying on our belly. And we're going to come into quite a deep stretch here through the chest. So that's why we've done quite a bit of warm up first and done a lot of work through the shoulders. So here, it shouldn't be too much of a shock, but again, just be mindful how it works with your body. So arms will come out nice and wide. So it's like you're making a T shape. Have your forehead heavy to the mat. I'm just going to keep my head up so that you can still hear me. And then we're going to bend our left arm. So our left elbow is pointing up, left hand is pressing down to the mat. And then bend our left leg as well. So my right arm is still nice and long, my right leg is long. We're going to kick our left foot up towards the sky. So and then start to press into your left hand and find this rotation. So here I'm rolling onto my right shoulder. Maybe my left foot finds the floor and I can rest that foot down. And you're welcome to stay here. Here might be good, you might feel enough sensation, and so here might feel like a good place to stay. If you want to play with going a bit further, that will just be lengthening that leg out so it's nice and long. And this left arm, you've got a few options. You can either keep pressing your hand into the mat, or you might want to reach your arm up, palm faces back, and then you might even want to thread that arm behind you so this elbow is pointing up to the sky. So this is the stretch. So quite intense through the chest, through the pecs, through the shoulders. So just be mindful of what option you want to take. I want your head to be heavy, so either it's on a block or your cushion, or it's heavy on the floor. And feel free to bring this foot back down if you're feeling like too much through your back. Just bring this hand back down if you need a bit more support. Just know that you've always got options and you've always got a chance to play around with the shape in your body too. It might be really useful here to close down your eyes so that you can really focus on relaxing, on softening into the shape. And I often find that with these types of poses that I'm taking you through with yoga, you want to see if you can really relax. So often we really want to tense and hold, and we want to see if we can actually soften. So that's when using our breath can be really useful. So every time you inhale, it's like you'll feel this natural want to like lift engagement in your body, and so use your exhale. Every time you exhale, see if you can just get heavier, like you just fully release and trust that the ground's got you. I'm going to stay here just for a couple more cycles of breath. So maybe see if you've got a bit more range, a bit more movement here. Or just see if you can soften a bit more. Often if we soften more, we get more sensation, we get more feedback. So feel free to play around with that. Okay, we're going to slowly peel our body back. So be really slow with this. Just gently rolling back onto your chest. Yeah, bring your hands, stack your hands one on top of the other, and then rest your forehead onto your hands. Just to kind of release what we've just done. So you might even want to wiggle out through your hips. Or you might just want to be still and take a couple breaths here. You might even just want to drop your arms to the side and just have your head facing one way so that you can really relax through the shoulders. So we're just taking a moment in like a belly shavasana just to let all that work go, just to reset. And then we'll make our way into the other side. So left arm goes out nice and wide. My right hand is on the floor and I have my forehead to the mat as well. You might even want to draw a slight drawing in of your belly just for a bit of support through your back. Bend through your right knee. Start to press through your right hand, press your heel up towards the sky as you slowly start to peel your weight onto your left shoulder. Yeah, maybe your foot will find the floor. Maybe you can lengthen it. Maybe you keep your hand down, maybe you bring it back. Yeah, you can just choose and take your time. Know that we've got a bit of time here, so play with taking your time, finding your expression. You can always go back or add more. And you might find that the sides are quite different. I'm feeling a bit tighter on the side for sure, so I'm going to keep my hand down. And that will also just help me to peel a bit more weight onto my left shoulder as well. So deep belly breathing here. Again, can you allow your body to get heavy? And can you allow yourself to let go just a little bit more? inhale through your nose and exhale through your nose. And as we stay, explore if there's a bit more rotation, just with curiosity and not with force or pushing anything. Good work. And then slowly bringing your body back, coming back to your belly shavasana, maybe resting your forehead on your hands or dropping your arms alongside you, whatever feels more nourishing for you. And now that we've done both sides, just notice how they feel. You might even want to wiggle through your hips. Good, nice work. Okay, we're going to press back to like our child's pose. So now that your legs have had a bit of a break from that position, we're going to go back. So pressing up through your arms, take your knees out nice and wide, send your hips back for a lateral stretch. So before, our hands were just in the center. This time we're going to bring our right hand over towards our left. They don't have to touch, but you might be able to place one hand on top of the other. So you can relax your forehead down, shift your weight back into your heels, so weight into your sit bones, and relax your forehead down. So maybe you rest it on a block or a cushion. And just explore, maybe there's a bit more lateral stretch you can create. So you want to be reaching with your right hand and also reaching back with your right hip as well. So feel that pull and press type of situation through your spine. Again, deep belly breathing, your inhales and exhales. Good. Spider walk your hands back to center. Just take a moment here to reset. And then this time our left hand will be going over towards the right. So go into the other direction. And I want you to feel this through your lats, so through the side of your spine. So feel that reach through your fingertips and the sitting back through your hips. And relax where you can, so drop your forehead if you can. Allow yourself to be heavy through your lower body, through your pelvis. Good. Bring your hands back to center. Walk your hands back in. Well, those shoulders should feel super open. We're going to do one more, not so much of the shoulders, more through the upper back. So I'm going to use my blocks here, but if you don't have any, this is where a pillow can be really useful, or even a rolled up towel. So we're going to take a supported fish pose. So what that looks like is, I like to use 2 blocks. You might be okay with 1. Start on its lower setting if you've got the blocks, because that will mirror more so a cushion or a towel. You're just going to start to peel your upper body. So think that block is in between your shoulder blades, and then start to lean back. So it's giving you an opening through your chest here. I have my feet planted just for a bit more support. So this is fish. So the goal is that your pelvis is heavy and we're only opening through our upper back. So you've got a few options here. If you have blocks, that was the lowest setting. You could go to the medium setting, which is my favourite because it's nice and skinny, so it fits quite well in between the shoulder blades. So then I think of placing that block. I'm kind of working on my bra strap line, but it's in between your shoulder blades. And then I'm going to start to peel my weight back. So this is where I like to place another block on its lowest setting underneath my head. And you might need to wiggle around to find the sensation for you. Once you're there, your arms can go out nice and wide. We could also bring our legs into it and stretch our inner thighs, which would be soles of your feet together and knees hanging out. You have a lot of options with your legs and your arms in this posture. So do the best that works for you. It might be feet planted, it might be knees open, it might just be legs out nice and long. So feel free to try all three and just allow your body to choose. Yeah, which one is it craving in this moment? You can always take the other variation next time, but right now, what is your body craving? It might even be to be lower on your block, or it might be to have a couple of cushions. It might be to have nothing underneath your head, so you're getting more opening through the throat. So just play around with this. It is a posture that it can take time to set into, and it can also be one where you start with something and then you change to something else. So play around. Yeah, play around. That's my biggest invitation here, is just to play around. So I'm going to take my knees out nice and wide because I feel just the opening through my whole front line feels really inviting after all that work. And I'm also going to take my arms out nice and wide too, but you could bring your hands onto your belly. You could even bring your arms overhead if you want more shoulder opening. Really focusing on the shoulder opening. But just again, play around, close down your eyes. And what does your body want? Yeah, often we really like to think our way through everything. We work with a lot of logic, letting our mind tell us which direction to go in. And I invite you here to play with what is your body asking for, what would serve your body. It might be to go lower, it might be to go higher. But this is a shape where once you're set up, you're set up. So the invitation, once you've found your position, is just to let go. It's just to surrender. You don't have to do a whole lot here. Just let yourself be. So we're going to stay here and breathe. You're also always welcome to just pause the video and be in this shape for even longer. I often find with teaching this shape, it's one where people either love it or it's quite confronting. It can be quite a vulnerable state. As you can tell, everything is open through our front line. And quite often we want to round our shoulders forward, we want to protect our chest, we want to close our throat or not speak up. So having it all open, especially through our belly and all our organs almost exposed, sometimes it can feel just super unfamiliar. Not often how we show up with other people or energetically. So sometimes it can feel really refreshing to finally be so open. But sometimes it can also be just different. So whatever's coming up is perfect. Just know you don't have to change anything. The invitation is to see if you can just breathe with it. Breathe with whatever's there. To stay. The practice is to stay, especially when we want to run away and avoid things. I'm going to see if we can stay and breathe. Know that we're safe. great thing about this posture is you are so open that you can breathe all the way into your belly with no restrictions. So enjoy that space in your belly to breathe deeply. And just be here for a few more cycles of breath. So see if you can allow yourself to be heavier. Okay, the best way to come out of this pose, because it can feel a bit tricky, is to, if you're in Supta Baddha Konasana with your legs, is to grab the outside of your thighs and use the strength of your arms to bring your knees back. And then I find just rolling over to one side, so choosing a side to roll off your blocks or your cushions. Just rest your head in your arm, so create a little pillow, legs bent, and just take a couple cycles of breath here. Just notice how you're feeling. Press through your hand to come up to a seated posture. It can be cross-legged, it can be kneeling, and just want to finish the practice acknowledging each other. Yeah, acknowledging the energy that you brought to the practice, the time that you made in your day to fit this movement in. It's amazing. So bring your hands into prayer. And there's a few different translations of this word. For me, it's about acknowledging each other. It's about seeing that we're two sides of the same coin. And so acknowledging how you showed up, how I showed up, and for the time that we spent together, even virtually. So if it feels good for you, you can try this on. So bring your thumbs to your forehead, to touch into your third eye center. And with that appreciation, that gratitude for each other, we bow down and we say Namaste. So Namaste, thank you. Thank you for joining me. I hope your spine, your chest, your shoulders feel super juicy and open after all of that. Feel free to hold those poses for longer. Feel free to stay in your side lying resting pose for longer as well. And then enjoy your other classes, your other movement.